Now, let's show some love to our sponsor over at DraftKings. By now, y'all should be in tune with Pick Six. It's a very simple situation. You're going to have two or more picks, and you got all different type of statistical categories, rebounds, points, assists, and you're picking more or less. Very simple, more or less. For tonight's games, I have 4 picks for y'all that I hope can hit and be really, really nice. First off, we have Luka Doncic and the Lakers facing up against a tough, gritty defense out there in OKC. I'm still going to side with Luka Doncic and take more of his points. Luka all year long has had an answer for every single defense he's faced. He is a walking 30-plus points right now, walking 40 points if you want to say. And I believe when the Lakers play against teams like OKC, that kind of takes everybody else away. Luka does a really good job of making sure that he keeps the team and the game kind of close, so within arm's reach, by just taking over. Typically Luka likes to facilitate and find his shot as well and keep, the defense honest with a little bit of playmaking and scoring. But I think against a team like OKC, you'll start to quickly see Luka put his foot down and say, you know what, in order for us to have a chance to win and stay in this game, it's going to be me having to have another one of those 30, 40-point triple-doubles. And so I think OKC is going to have some good stops here and there. They might have a couple of good options to put on Luka to try to slow him down. But I think ultimately Luka does what the Don does, and that's scoring. So for the points, Luka Doncic against the OKC Thunder, again, we are taking more. Next, we are staying a little bit on the West Coast, not necessarily with the Clippers, but one of their opponents. We're going Nikola Jokic more on his rebounds. Jokic has been almost a walking triple-double this season, and one of the things he's done really well is rebounding basketball. I think this continues against the Clippers. He is a guy that, is always going to get you 12, 13 or so rebounds. And I think one of the things about Jokic is the fact that he does so many different things, but he's starting to play, I don't want to say starting, but he's always going to play a little bit closer to the basket. And I think the Clippers can be a little bit vulnerable, may give up some of that. Zubac does like to turn it up a little bit against Nikola Jokic. This matchup sometimes feels a little personal. I get it. He's the best center in the game. You want to come out and make a statement. But overall, he's just too much to keep off of the glass. And I believe with some of the three-point shooting early on from the Nuggets, it'll open up a lot more of those diving lanes for the times that he does have to crash and get his hands on those offensive rebounds. Second possessions are really good for the Denver Nuggets, and Jokic knows how to get them for them. And then third, we have Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks going up against the Sacramento Kings. The Hawks have kind of been playing some good basketball as of late. They have no Trae Young. And so without Trae Young and even Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the ball ends up a lot in Jalen Johnson's hands. He's kind of operating as a point forward, and he's been thriving there. And so I believe with the basketball being in his hands and him putting pressure on defenses by being a driver and constantly in attack mode, it opens up a lot of those passing lanes for him. And you got a guy like Kristaps Porzingis who can stretch the floor for him. They can have a little bit of a two-man game. He loves being able to drive, getting in the air, and last minute making a decision with the basketball. And with Luke Kennard, even double low in that dunker spot, I think, with the ability even of Dyson Daniels cutting, this should be relatively one of the easier ones for tonight's game. So Jalen Johnson against the Sacramento Kings defense that isn't the greatest, right? This isn't a great Sacramento Kings team. I could see this game getting up and down a bit, and I could see the Hawks, based off how they played in the last few games, especially that game against the Lakers, getting out in transition, and Jalen Johnson being able to really get a lot of those looks up and down in transition. And then last but not least, Deni Avdija, points, rebounds, assists versus the Pelicans. He's been a do-it-all threat all year long. He's even a guy that can get majority of this with just the points. The way he's scoring the basketball, he's been a 25-point scorer each and every night. And then you add in the playmaking ability that he has. His playmaking percentage is going up as well with his usage. And then also rebounding. This is one of those teams, kind of like Atlanta, who can get up and down. They cause a lot of havoc with their length and their steals. And so when they get those turnovers forced from the Pelicans, a team that will turn the ball over, I could see the Blazers getting up and down and Deni being able to contribute with points, rebounds, and assists with those stops and with getting up and down. So those are our picks. Make sure you lock it in. For those of you who haven't checked out DraftKings Pick 6 yet, there's an exclusive offer waiting for you. Right now, new DraftKings customers can play 5 and get $50 in bonus picks. All you have to do is download the Pick 6 app and use promo code ENJOY when you sign up. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Texas, California, and Missouri. So don't be afraid to get in on action. Ride the upside with Pick 6.